AI transformation in higher education, balancing operational efficiency with academic integrity. Abstract. Higher education institutions face mounting pressures from enrollment declines, budgetary constraints, and operational complexity while simultaneously confronting the disruptive potential of artificial intelligence. This article examines how colleges and universities can strategically adopt AI technologies to enhance administrative efficiency while maintaining pedagogical integrity and ethical standards. Drawing on organizational change research and documented institutional practices, we analyze the dual challenge facing campus leaders, leveraging AI's operational benefits in admissions, finance, and marketing while addressing faculty concerns about learning outcomes. We present evidence-based frameworks for responsible AI adoption, including governance structures, risk mitigation strategies, assessment approaches, and funding models. The analysis synthesizes insights from institutions actively implementing AI initiatives alongside scholarly research on technology adoption, organizational change, and educational quality assurance. Our findings suggest that successful AI transformation in higher education requires transparent governance, stakeholder engagement, incremental implementation, and continuous evaluation, creating sustainable pathways that honor both operational imperatives and educational mission. American higher education stands at an inflection point. Many regional public universities face enrollment declines, while operating costs continue rising faster than institutional revenues. Simultaneously, administrative complexity has intensified, compliance requirements expand, student support needs grow more diverse, and competitive pressures for recruitment intensify. Against this backdrop, artificial intelligence technologies promise transformative efficiency gains, from chatbot-enhanced student services to predictive analytics for retention interventions. Yet this promise arrives wrapped in profound uncertainty. While campus administrators see AI as a potential solution to operational challenges, faculty express substantial reservations about its impact on learning, academic integrity, and educational relationships. This tension reflects deeper questions about institutional mission. Can technology designed for efficiency coexist with education's inherently humanistic aims? How do institutions balance fiscal sustainability with pedagogical quality? The stakes extend beyond individual campuses. Higher education's response to AI will shape workforce preparation, knowledge creation, and social mobility for generations. Getting it right requires more than adopting tools, it demands thoughtful governance, ethical guardrails, meaningful assessment, and sustainable investment strategies. This article maps that path forward, drawing on emerging institutional practices and organizational research to outline how colleges can meet this moment responsibly. The AI adoption landscape in higher education. Defining AI in the campus context. Artificial intelligence in higher education encompasses multiple technologies serving distinct functions. Generative AI, systems like ChatGPT that produce text, images, or code from prompts, has captured public attention and faculty concern. Predictive analytics applies machine learning to student data, forecasting outcomes like persistence risk or course success. Natural language processing powers chatbots handling routine student inquiries, while computer vision enables automated proctoring or accessibility features. Zawacki Richter et al. 2019. These applications cluster into two broad categories with different adoption trajectories. Administrative AI enhances operational processes, admissions screening, financial aid optimization, marketing personalization, facilities management, and student services automation. Academic AI intersects with teaching and learning, automated grading, tutoring systems, research tools, and, most controversially, student use of generative AI for coursework. This distinction matters because administrative and academic AI raise different governance questions. Administrative applications focus on efficiency, accuracy, and resource allocation, invoking concerns about bias, privacy, and workforce displacement. Academic applications touch learning itself, raising questions about intellectual development, academic integrity, and educational relationships. Effective institutional strategy must address both domains while recognizing their distinct dynamics. State of practice, adoption patterns and drivers. Higher education institutions show significant variation in AI adoption. Many institutions report using AI technologies in at least some administrative functions, with admissions and student services frequently among early adoption areas. However, comprehensive AI governance policies remain less common, and dedicated budgets for AI initiatives beyond existing IT allocations are relatively rare. Several factors appear to drive current adoption patterns. Financial pressure emerges prominently. Institutions facing budget gaps see AI as a potential path to doing more with less, particularly in labor-intensive areas like advising or financial aid processing. Competitive dynamics also matter. Campuses express concerns about falling behind peers in recruitment or student experience. Additionally, vendor availability shapes adoption, as higher education-focused companies embed AI into existing platforms, learning management systems, customer relationship management tools, student information systems. Institutions sometimes adopt AI almost passively through software updates. Yet adoption remains uneven across institutional types. Well-resourced research universities establish AI centers, hire chief AI officers, and pilot multiple initiatives simultaneously. Resource-constrained regional comprehensives adopt more cautiously, often responding to specific pain points rather than pursuing strategic transformation. Community colleges face particular challenges: limited IT capacity, faculty stretched across multiple roles, and student populations requiring high-touch support that may not lend itself easily to automation. Organizational and individual consequences of AI adoption. Organizational performance impacts when implemented thoughtfully. AI applications can deliver measurable operational improvements. Georgia State University's predictive analytics system, which identifies students at academic risk and triggers proactive advising interventions, represents a widely cited example. The institution has reported that AI-enabled advising contributed to increased graduation rates, with particularly notable gains among underrepresented students, though attributing causality solely to AI remains complex given simultaneous institutional changes. In enrollment management, some institutions using AI for application review and yield prediction report efficiency gains in staff time, allowing admissions counselors to focus on relationship building rather than file reading. Marketing personalization through AI-driven communication strategies has shown promise in improving inquirer-to-application conversion rates at several regional universities, though results vary significantly based on implementation quality and institutional context. Financial operations similarly show potential benefits from automation. Several universities have implemented AI-powered accounts payable processing that reduced invoice handling time and improved error detection. Facilities management applications using predictive maintenance algorithms have demonstrated reductions in emergency repair costs while extending equipment life at some institutions. However, these gains come with important caveats. Implementation costs often exceed projections, benefits take longer to materialize than vendors suggest, and efficiency gains may trigger workforce reductions that damage institutional culture. Moreover, quantified benefits typically focus on easily measured metrics, processing time, cost per transaction, while harder to quantify impacts on relationship quality, trust, or mission alignment receive less attention. Individual impacts, students, faculty, and staff. For students, AI's effects prove decidedly mixed. Well-designed chatbots can provide 24/7 access to routine information, reducing frustration with office hours or phone queues. Predictive interventions can surface struggling students before crises develop. Personalized learning platforms may adapt to individual pace and needs, potentially supporting diverse learners. Yet students also experience AI's downsides. Algorithmic decisions often lack transparency. Students flagged as high risk may never know why or how to challenge the designation. Automated systems sometimes fail spectacularly, providing incorrect information or misunderstanding complex situations. Privacy concerns mount as institutions collect and analyze ever more granular data about student behavior. And when AI substitutes for human interaction, students may lose mentoring relationships crucial for development and belonging. Faculty experience perhaps the sharpest tensions. Many appreciate administrative AI that reduces grading burden or streamlines course logistics. But faculty widely express anxiety about generative AI's impact on student learning, academic integrity, and their own professional roles. Concerns cluster around several themes: students using AI to complete assignments without learning, difficulty distinguishing AI generated from student work, and uncertainty about how to redesign assessments. Deeper worries involve AI potentially devaluing humanistic inquiry or reducing faculty to content facilitators in AI-mediated learning. Staff in roles targeted for automation face obvious concerns about job security. Even when institutions commit to no layoffs, anxiety persists. Simultaneously, remaining staff often face intensified pressure to manage AI systems while maintaining quality, a combination that can increase stress rather than reduce it. The promise of augmentation, not replacement, depends entirely on implementation choices institutions make. Evidence-based organizational responses, transparent governance, and stakeholder engagement. Effective AI adoption begins with governance structures that ensure transparency, accountability, and broad input. Leading institutions establish AI governance committees with diverse representation: IT leaders, faculty, students, legal counsel, and community members, rather than relegating decisions to technology offices alone. The University of Michigan created an AI advisory board that reviews all major AI initiatives against ethical principles developed through campus-wide consultation. The board requires impact assessments addressing potential bias, privacy implications, and effects on vulnerable populations before approving projects. Critically, the board includes faculty from humanities and social sciences alongside technical experts, ensuring ethical and social dimensions receive equal weight with technical capabilities. Effective approaches include standing governance bodies with clear authority to approve, modify, or reject AI initiatives based on institutional values, public AI registers documenting what systems operate on campus, what data they use, and what decisions they inform, regular stakeholder forums where campus community members learn about AI initiatives and voice concerns, accessible plain language explanations of how AI systems work and what rights users have, clear escalation paths for students or employees to challenge algorithmic decisions, sunset provisions requiring periodic review and reauthorization of AI systems rather than indefinite deployment. Arizona State University exemplifies stakeholder engagement in AI adoption. Before implementing their AI-powered degree planning tool, they conducted extensive pilots with student focus groups, iteratively adjusting based on feedback. Faculty were involved from design stages, ensuring the tool supported rather than supplanted academic advising relationships. This participatory approach slowed initial deployment but appears to have increased adoption and reduced resistance. Risk mitigation, algorithmic bias, and privacy protection. Higher education institutions must proactively address AI's tendency to perpetuate and amplify existing inequities. Algorithms trained on historical data often encode past discrimination. Admissions systems may disadvantage applicants from underrepresented backgrounds. Financial aid models may systematically under-resource certain student groups. And risk prediction tools may flag students based on demographic proxies rather than actual need. Benjamin 2019. Rigorous bias auditing provides essential safeguards. This involves testing AI systems for differential outcomes across demographic groups, examining training data for representation gaps, and validating that predictive models perform equitably. The University of California system has implemented algorithmic impact assessments for AI applications affecting student admissions, progression, or services, with particular attention to protected characteristics. Practical bias mitigation strategies include disaggregated outcome analysis examining AI system performance across race, ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic status, disability status, and intersectional categories diverse training data that represents the full student population rather than oversampling majority groups fairness constraints built into model optimization. Prioritizing equitable outcomes alongside predictive accuracy human review requirements for consequential decisions. Preventing full automation of high-stakes determinations regular revalidation as student populations and institutional contexts change third-party audits by external experts without vendor conflicts of interest privacy protection requires equally vigilant attention. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act establishes baseline requirements, but effective practice exceeds legal minimums. Institutions should collect only data genuinely necessary for specified purposes, maintain strict access controls, and avoid sharing student data with third parties absent clear consent and strong contractual protections. Mount Holyoke College developed comprehensive data governance policies specifically for AI applications. They limit data retention periods, require data minimization, and give students meaningful control over what information feeds AI systems. Importantly, they prohibit using AI in ways that might create permanent records of transient struggles. Flagging a student for early intervention doesn't permanently label them as at risk in institutional databases. Pedagogical integration and faculty development rather than viewing faculty concerns about academic AI as obstacles. Forward-thinking institutions treat them as opportunities for meaningful pedagogical innovation. Successful approaches support faculty in redesigning courses that leverage AI's capabilities while preserving learning goals, rather than simply attempting to detect and prohibit AI use. Davidson College launched a Faculty Fellows program supporting instructors in reimagining assignments for an AI-present world. Fellows receive course release time to develop AI-informed pedagogy, then share practices campus-wide. Their innovations include assignments requiring students to use AI tools then critically evaluate the outputs, projects demanding original data collection that AI cannot automate, collaborative work emphasizing interpersonal dimensions AI cannot replicate, and reflective components asking students to articulate their learning process. Effective faculty development initiatives include pedagogical workshops focused on assignment design, assessment strategies, and learning objectives rather than just AI detection tools. Disciplinary communities of practice where faculty explore AI implications within specific fields. Instructional design support helping faculty redesign courses without overwhelming additional workload. Funded innovation grants providing resources for faculty to experiment with new approaches. Student partnership programs involving students as co-designers of AI-informed pedagogy. Clear institutional messaging that faculty have autonomy to set course policies while receiving support for navigating change. Faculty development must extend beyond generative AI to help instructors understand how administrative AI systems affect their students. When predictive analytics flag students for intervention, faculty should understand the system's logic, limitations, and potential biases. When chatbots handle routine student questions, faculty should know what information students receive and where gaps might exist. Financial planning and resource allocation. Sustainable AI transformation requires clear-eyed financial planning that extends beyond initial procurement costs to encompass implementation, training, maintenance, and ongoing evaluation. Many institutions appear to underestimate total cost of ownership. focusing on software licensing while neglecting necessary infrastructure upgrades. Staff development or change management. Realistic budgeting addresses multiple cost categories: direct technology expenses, software, cloud computing, data storage, personnel costs, specialized staff, training, backfilled positions during transition, infrastructure investments, computing capacity, network upgrades, security enhancements, and ongoing expenses, maintenance, licensing renewals, continuous improvement. The University of Central Florida developed a multi-year AI roadmap with phased investment aligned to specific strategic goals, rather than pursuing multiple disconnected initiatives. They prioritized high-impact use cases, fully funded implementation including change management, and built-in evaluation periods before expanding. This disciplined approach prevented the common pattern of abandoned pilots that waste resources without delivering value. Funding strategies include reallocation from current operations, particularly for AI applications replacing existing expenses, e.g., reallocating chatbot costs from call center staffing, efficiency reinvestment, where documented savings from early AI implementations fund subsequent initiatives, cross-departmental cost sharing for enterprise AI platforms serving multiple units, grant funding from government or philanthropic sources supporting AI innovation in education, public-private partnerships with vendors offering reduced costs in exchange for research access or case study participation, student technology fees, specifically designated for AI applications that enhance student experience. With transparent governance. Importantly, financial planning should account for exit costs. Vendor lock-in poses real risks. Switching costs can exceed initial procurement. Institutions should negotiate data portability provisions, maintain in-house expertise rather than full vendor dependence, and periodically reassess whether AI investments deliver promised value. Continuous assessment and adaptive implementation rather than treating AI adoption as a one-time technology implementation. Effective institutions establish ongoing evaluation systems that track both intended outcomes and unintended consequences. This requires moving beyond vendor-provided metrics to develop institution-specific assessment frameworks aligned with educational mission. Cornell University's approach to AI evaluation illustrates comprehensive assessment. For each AI application, they identify quantifiable performance metrics, efficiency gains, cost savings, usage rates, qualitative impact measures, user satisfaction, service quality, relationship effects, equity indicators, differential outcomes across student groups, and educational outcome measures, learning gains, persistence, completion. They collect data quarterly and conduct annual comprehensive reviews determining whether to continue, modify, or discontinue each initiative. Assessment frameworks should include baseline measurement before AI implementation, enabling valid comparison of impacts, multiple data sources combining quantitative metrics with qualitative user experience, disaggregated analysis examining differential impacts across student populations, long-term outcome tracking, not just immediate efficiency metrics, unintended consequence monitoring, actively looking for unexpected negative effects, cost-benefit analysis comparing actual returns against initial projections, and alternative investments, regular decision points for continuation, modification, or discontinuation rather than indefinite deployment. Importantly, assessment should inform adaptive implementation. When evaluation reveals problems, bias in algorithmic decisions, user frustration, failure to deliver expected benefits, institutions must respond with modifications or, when necessary, discontinuation. The sunk cost fallacy tempts organizations to persist with failed initiatives. But effective AI adoption requires willingness to change course. Building long-term AI capability and institutional resilience. Distributed AI literacy and ethical reasoning. Long-term success requires moving beyond specialized AI expertise concentrated in technology offices to cultivate broad AI literacy across the institution. Students, faculty, and staff all need sufficient understanding to engage meaningfully with AI systems affecting their work and learning. AI literacy encompasses several dimensions: basic technical understanding of how AI systems function, awareness of capabilities and limitations, recognition of bias and fairness issues, privacy and data rights knowledge, and critical evaluation skills. Importantly, it includes ethical reasoning, the capacity to analyze AI's implications for human dignity, equity, and institutional values. Incremental. 2021. The University of Edinburgh embedded AI literacy across the curriculum through general education requirements and disciplinary integration. First-year seminars address AI's societal implications. Major programs incorporate AI literacy relevant to specific fields. And a campus-wide speaker series engages public intellectuals exploring AI's cultural and ethical dimensions. This distributed approach reaches far more community members than specialized courses alone. Building distributed capability involves curriculum integration, bringing AI literacy into general education and major programs, professional development for faculty and staff. Adapted to different roles and technical backgrounds, student peer education, training student leaders to support classmates in navigating AI tools and policies, administrative staff training ensuring those implementing AI systems understand ethical implications, plain language communication, making AI governance accessible to non-technical community members, interdisciplinary collaboration, connecting technical experts with humanists, social scientists, and practitioners. Distributed literacy prevents problematic consolidation of AI decision-making among technical specialists. When diverse community members understand AI systems, governance becomes more democratic, implementation more thoughtful, and outcomes more equitable. Adaptive governance and policy frameworks. AI technology evolves rapidly, potentially rendering static policies obsolete. Effective institutions build adaptive governance structures that can respond to technological change while maintaining consistent values. This requires distinguishing between enduring principles and specific practices that must flex with circumstances. Johns Hopkins University developed a tiered policy framework that separates core values from operational guidelines. Their foundational AI principles: transparency, accountability, privacy protection, equity, and human primacy in consequential decisions, remain constant. Beneath these, specific policies addressing current technologies receive regular review and updating. This structure provides stability while enabling responsiveness. Adaptive governance includes principle-based policies articulating enduring institutional values rather than technology-specific rules, regular policy review cycles, annual or biennial, reassessing operational guidelines against emerging challenges, rapid response mechanisms allowing governance bodies to address urgent issues between standard review periods, scenario planning, anticipating potential AI developments and preemptively considering institutional responses, cross-institutional learning. Networks sharing emerging practices and challenges across institutions, external expert engagement bringing in ethicists, technologists, and policy specialists as advisors. Adaptive governance also requires acknowledging uncertainty. Rather than pretending to have definitive answers about rapidly evolving technology, effective policies can include trial periods, pilot restrictions, and built-in reassessment triggers. Admitting "we don't yet know" sometimes represents more responsible governance than premature overspecification. Human-centered design and relationship preservation. Perhaps the most crucial long-term capability involves maintaining higher education's fundamentally humanistic mission amid technological change. AI can enhance administrative efficiency, but education remains an irreducibly human endeavor centered on relationships, meaning-making, and personal development. Human-centered AI design in higher education prioritizes preserving and strengthening human relationships rather than simply optimizing processes. This means using AI to create capacity for deeper human engagement, automating routine tasks so advisors have more time for substantive conversations. Using analytics to surface students who might benefit from outreach rather than replacing outreach with automated messages. And deploying tools that support rather than substitute for teaching. Amherst College's approach to advising technology illustrates this principle. Rather than implementing AI-powered automated advising, they use analytics to inform human advisors about students who might need additional support. The technology operates behind the scenes, flagging potential concerns. But all student contact involves personal relationship. Advisors receive better information, but students never experience automated outreach without human warmth. Relationship-preserving implementation includes augmentation over automation in roles involving mentoring, advising, or teaching relationships, technology transparency ensuring students and faculty understand when AI influences their experience, human override options allowing people to request human decision-makers rather than accepting algorithmic determinations, relationship metrics tracking whether AI implementation strengthens or weakens campus connections, student voice integration involving students in designing AI applications affecting their experience, intentional human touchpoints preserving key moments of personal connection even when automating surrounding processes. This requires resisting rhetoric, positioning maximum automation as inevitable progress. Institutions must assert that education's purpose involves human flourishing, not just efficient credential production, and design AI adoption accordingly. Conclusion: higher education's AI transformation presents genuine opportunity alongside real peril. Institutions facing fiscal pressure and operational complexity can leverage AI for meaningful efficiency gains, freeing resources for educational core mission. Yet careless adoption risks undermining the human relationships, equity commitments, and learning depth that define education's essential purpose. The path forward requires sophistication beyond mere technology adoption. Effective institutional response integrates transparent governance engaging diverse stakeholders, rigorous attention to bias and privacy protection, meaningful faculty development supporting pedagogical innovation, realistic financial planning, continuous evaluation driving adaptive implementation, an unwavering commitment to human-centered design preserving educational relationships. Several actionable priorities emerge for institutional leaders. First, establish robust governance before scaling adoption. The time invested in thoughtful policy development prevents far costlier problems later. Second, engage faculty as partners in pedagogical innovation rather than treating their concerns as obstacles. Third, insist on algorithmic accountability through bias audits, impact assessments, and transparency rather than accepting vendor assurances at face value. Fourth, build distributed AI literacy across the institution, democratizing understanding beyond technical specialists. Fifth, preserve human relationships as non-negotiable even when automation tempts. Most fundamentally, institutions must assert agency in shaping AI adoption rather than treating technological change as inevitable force beyond influence. The question is not whether higher education will use AI, but how, under what governance, toward what ends, with what safeguards, serving whose interests. Answering these questions wisely requires combining operational pragmatism with principled commitment to educational mission. The institutions that navigate this transformation successfully will emerge more sustainable operationally while remaining deeply committed to learning, equity, and human development, proving that technological change and humanistic values need not conflict when guided by thoughtful leadership and community engagement.